childhood trauma, panic attacks, insomnia, depression, addictions, eating disorder, relationship issues, lack of motivation, concentration issues, and many other problems that probably a lot of people are facing these days. You disagree?
Well, they do. Well, it's a sensitive topic, of course. Like, okay, go further. And
It's
then
quite a
we will-
buzzword, right? You hear it a lot these days.
Yes, it is.
Calling it buzzword makes it kind of worthless, but I just say because we hear it a lot everywhere.
True, but it also, I said, like there is also one dimension to keep in mind that there is a difference in cultures as well, right? So one of the things what you're mentioning over here, some of the things are curable. Some of the things, to a certain degree, at least there is an idea. Some of the things are maybe need more stricter medical condition. But the moment you put label on something,
It
right,
makes it harder.
it makes it very harder for the person to. If somebody believes that they are something or there is something over there, you understand, and you put a label that, okay, this is going to exist with them for an indefinite period, how you are going to come out of it?
Actually, we have to get back to that because that's really important, and we're definitely going to talk to it. So to continue the introduction, I've done quite some research in the past few years, and I also talked to you about this subject matter a lot, and so many other people and psychologists, stuff like that. Apparently, to some extent, there is some way to fix these issues, and there is one term which I've heard a lot from different people as a solution to fix this issue, and it's called self-awareness. And considering the conversation that I had with you, I kind of consider you as an intellectual. You're too humble to admit, but you know a lot about these kind of things, and I thought it's going to be really valuable for our audience, whom are usually way younger than you and have way less experience, to hear you talking about it and also hear our discussion. So before we really jump into the topic, can I please ask you to introduce yourself to some extent?
Sure. My name is Akbar, and I'm from Pakistan. I will just not go more further in those details in that matter because that it's not important. But what you just mentioned over there, intellectually, it's more like experience. That's the more core word over there. I just happens to have more experience in a variety of different things and was lucky enough to gather some information over there. At least those information is applicable more on me, and that's why I can share it to the other as well. That okay, it works with me. Maybe it will work with you as well, right? But to say it for surety, because everybody has their own stories and stuff. So we have to keep those distinctions in mind while talking about these things. So it's more of a personal point of view to how I have seen the things and how I think the things could be, but that's to keep it that in mind.
Yeah, exactly. Also in the beginning, so it's just our perspective, and also to some extent. So if you did self-awareness things and your life got worse, please don't come to us. Like it's your fault. We take no responsibility. No, I'm just kidding. But so you were saying an interesting thing about labeling things. So no, let's get to that later. First, what is self-awareness in your opinion? Because we had a discussion about how to defining self-awareness, and there is quite some different school of thoughts on what is self-awareness, I guess, right?
Yes. Let's just not go into the how you say the principles and other stuff over there. Just very basic what people think. Most of the people assume that was me as well. Self-awareness more to be aware about yourself, right? So whatever I'm doing, when I'm putting this thing right over here, why I'm putting this thing right over here. So I have to be more aware of my thought procedure, that why a certain thing is emerging in my thing. What is the reason behind it? Why I am attracted to a certain thing. What I find the most attractive. So for me, that was the first, I thought that was all about self-awareness. But at least in my experience, I happen to be wrong. And that's why also I mention it, because I think in my conversations with most of the people do also have the same idea of self-awareness. It's just more about because it has self and awareness. So but I think it's more about, it's the half story. The other half of it is that also you have to think about the fact that if I'm putting this headphone over here, how do you react to it? Right?
What is my perception?
What is your perception over there? I have to be also keep that in mind, because then I am a bit more aware of the situation as well. So, and that goes hand in hand with self-awareness. Otherwise, you are in my experience, you are going to be in your own bubble. And you are going to misunderstand the other people's reaction if they are going to do, because you are going to check them with your own thinking, right? without taking their perception in mind or how they are looking at it or how they reacted on it.
But don't you think that if thinking self-awareness, that in kind of external perception, that what people look at you gonna lead to your life decisions to some extent being too much impacted by others' opinion? Or
Yes, that's where there is a fine balance over there. First, you have to be aware about yourself. First, you have to define certain principles that, okay, why you are attracted towards a certain thing or why you can't stop doing certain things. Doesn't matter even you know that this is wrong, right? So first you have to identify those basic things. Once you have identified them, then you can start looking at it, okay, when I'm changing something in my behavior to be a bit more self-aware or to control the habits I want to control or whatever you are trying to do in a construction way over there, then you have to keep also the people you are interacting around in mind as well. Otherwise, at least in my experience, you are going to get some difference in understandings, and people also don't tend to talk about it till the thing is very big, and then in the end, most of the time it's the misunderstanding has gone a little bit too much then.
But so we say that the first thing to do is to get to know yourself before anything else. But how can it be? How can you do that?
Having conversations with yourself, honest ones, real honest ones. So let's say for example, I give you an example of myself. I am very bad in time management. It's a problem with me. I am still struggling with it. So if I think I can do something, the last moment I will delay it as much as possible. When I'm doing my work with, in the group or with individual, I tend to tell that to the people already. So there is this kind of, you understand that they are aware of that, okay, there is a problem with me on that side, and then I have to work on that. You understand what I'm trying to say over there?
Yes. But that's kind of because I also had it when I was younger, that when you get nervous and you get stressed out, that sense of urgency makes you do the task better and more accurate, and also, I don't know, to some extent it gets it better.
It is something. Most of it does work. At least to me, it works. I know that my performance is far more better, but of course also the stress levels are very high as well.
Yeah, you don't want to die in your 50s because you do everything in the last second and you're having panic attacks every day.
That's also a problem. So that's why the balance is very necessary to keep over there.
Yeah, but so other than talking to yourself, I hear some other different methods of becoming, self-aware and to some extent getting to know yourself. For example, people talk about self-authoring. Have you heard that term before? Mm-hmm. Self-authoring, walking in the nature without mobile phone and just listening to sounds around you. Different types of meditation. Like one meditation is just sitting somewhere for 1 hour. There is this guy called Naval Ravikant. I really like him. I don't know if you know him.
No,
he's actually he's close to you. He's one of your cousins. He's from India, and he's from Pakistan though, not India exactly. But still to some extent. So he said one best way to meditate is, he's kind of also intellectual or spiritual guy, but he's a billionaire at the same time. So quite interesting person. Is to sit somewhere. I know you already go on.
It's like we are not going to be talking about political views over here, so it's just keep it to a very
it's so
human.
Political. He just has a lot of cash.
No, look, I have just a fundamental problem again personally with the people who make money while doing good. It just in my head those things just doesn't go together.
Sound Marxism.
You can say what you want to say. I do not follow a particular ideology about it. Like if philanthropy it's something that is acceptable. I think that is fine if you have done something or worked something for yourself and you have earned money, right? And then from that money you are helping people out. Perfect. I am all for that stuff. Makes sense. But if your source of income
is helping people,
that's. Doesn't matter. You can say that, okay, I am putting my franchises over there and all that stuff.
But his source of income is not that actually. He has like couple of podcasts. He doesn't even like that publicity. But anyway, I'm not gonna defend
indeed, that's why I said we just go back to
But that's interesting that you say source of income thing. But I hope I remember it so we can get back to it in the podcast. But what he said is, for example, you sit somewhere for 1 hour. He said 1 hour exactly because less than that it doesn't work. And just let any thought that it comes and goes. Don't force yourself. Unlike what everybody say, like you should sit somewhere for 10 minutes, don't think about anything, which is impossible because when you don't think about anything, you're thinking about not thinking about anything.
That's I would make a statement. I think this is said by the it's a very old statement also, that the only time you are actually not thinking is when you die. It's practically impossible to stop.
I will write that on the title of
It's,
that podcast.
It's impossible.
Yeah. So, or some people say focus on your breath. Some people like focus on your state of your body, inner state of your body, your heartbeat. I don't know, the wind, noise, anything. So, which one do you think is it really subjective?
Look, I'm a very simple man, so I go back to the very simple thing. Like, if you want to go from here to Amsterdam, right now, it doesn't matter. You go by bicycle if you have the power to do so. Even electric bike, there are possibilities. You take a car or by public transport.
Yeah.
It's your choice, right? Point is to reach Amsterdam.
Yeah.
That should be kept in mind. So you can try. Maybe bike is more, for some people, train is more nicer. You can talk with people in between over there, or maybe you don't have to do that much effort. For some people, car is nice. They can, the meditation thing, they can just like think about the stuff on the way. For some people, bike is nice because you interact with people. You are going to take a lot of breaks in between, right?
Yeah.
You're going to see the local things over there. So completely depends what exactly. I hope so everybody and you also understood what I'm trying to say with this analogy.
Plus, if you ride bike from that place to the Amsterdam, probably you're getting your Dutch citizenship even faster.
Probably.
That also helps.
Probably.
Yeah.
We have to see how many people have died trying in Afsel. What is it? Afsel Dijk? Yes, yeah.
What's that?
This is the main, the long road from
Amsterdam.
where you go to Amsterdam. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's how you call it? It's a
highway.
Oh no, it's a highway, but it's also a
Autobahn.
It's what the word was in my a bank. Yeah, to stop water. What is the
Dam.
a dam? Thank you very much. I was like the
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But so one method that I personally liked it was self-authoring, but there is still a school of thoughts on self-authoring. What do you know about self-authoring?
Like, I know you just have. I think if I'm taking the from the definition of the word itself, you just write what comes in your mind, right? It might work for some people. I know it will not work for me. I'm more of a guy who just walks around and then let the things come.
Yeah.
And I also, just to be mentioned over there, do not just let the the random thoughts come in my head. That's not how I do meditation. So there is like whatever the thing is, what is puzzling me or what is worrying me, of course, that is going to be on top of my head, right? So what I go do in this walking when I do outside is I just explore that thing as much as possible.
So you think about one specific subject matter consciously.
Indeed, that's what I do. But like from that thing, I don't put limit on myself. So I will think of most stupid solutions to that as well. Of course, I'm not going to do it, but I just let it run my head over there, and it really relaxes me out afterwards.
That's something that this guy also says is we all have so many bad memories, and I don't know, not exactly trauma. Maybe some people have it, traumas or negative things in our life that unless we solve it, it's kind of like it's like a weight that we are always carrying. And one of the ways that he says solving it is to trying to think about it and maybe write it down with all the detail that exactly what happened, how you felt about it, like reflection, like the Jeep cycle that we had to some extent, and many other things like that it gets solved in your mind, and then you don't feel the weight anymore. And after doing it for a long time, this guy says 60 hours, for example, for meditation, 1 hour. But I think it depends on how much negative things you have.
I think it's also, apart from the negative thing, it also depends on the intensity of those negative things. Look, if I just have a problem because like, let's say I have a problem with my girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find a solution over there, right? Or I have a bad experience with my, a friend of mine, but it was a bad experience more that he sold me out, for example, right? So that is a bad trauma. I can come over it because there is one individual, maybe there is no other, and if my experiences goes positive, I will live with it. But if the trauma is really serious, you can't just meditate, sit over there and walk it out. Sometimes you have to either confront if trauma is related to a person. So even if you were not able to confront the person at that time, confront them later. And when I say confront, I don't mean to go and punch and beat them up. I mean to have an understanding why something happened or why they did something what caused problems for you.
Do you think if you have a bad memory or negative memory from someone or something, but they don't know about it, confronting them, telling them about it is good for your mental health?
It might work, at least as like in the kind of person I am, I will do that thing. So that's why I'm giving it that in a terms of advice as well. Because I will do that. Because the thing is, look, like if you're very clear what happens, most of the people, I don't know, you understand? If you're very clear what exactly happened, then maybe there are other ways. Again, depends on the kind of traumas as well. But if there are confusions that, okay, you know something bad happened, but you don't know why exactly it happened, right? Then you can, of course, you have to go over there and ask. Most of the time, the people don't even realize that they did something to you. They were just like offshore for them, and then for you, it was a very main thing. And then afterwards, when you confront them, and those explanation helps you clear out, because otherwise you are still limited to the information you have. So I don't think sitting over there for even 1,000 hours on it is going to change anything unless you expand on that information or try to kick it out completely.
Yeah. Deep stuff, huh?
I don't know deep stuff, but like these things requires effort, and that's the core of it. All of these things requires effort.
But it's becoming harder and harder for the new generation, considering how distracted we are. Music, social media, we don't even know ourselves that much. Really, we don't.
Look, maybe it will become a political thing over there, but my fundamental, this is this is a bit...
It's just your opinion.
Yes, and these are my opinions over there, because the social construct of a society is very important. It's really, really important, because the kids learn from that, right? So if you have a family, doesn't matter even a bad one, let's say in that way, if there are multiple people running around over there, and even if you have some traumas, the point is you are dealing with all those people, right? You're forced to deal with all those people. So one way or another, you do develop certain habits, certain skills, let's say, which you might need afterwards, because all our life we deal with people. Doesn't matter if we like them or not. So for me, even that is beneficial if you went through that thing. But if you have never given anybody that opportunity...
What do you mean exactly?
Family structure. That's why I said it's very culturally important. So these things, what you are talking about, that the people are not very, let's say... aware, or they are not very motivated about doing something about it. This is more in West.
Why do you think it's West?
It's my humble opinion. Again, I can be absolutely wrong. I'm very limited understanding. Social structure.
So social structure...
It's gone over here. It's quite much gone over here.
You mean like the fact that the families are not that much... It's not really family-centric anymore?
Yeah. Look, parents don't know their kids. Like, what more I can say about it? In our cultures, you know it very well. Maybe you will agree, I'm making a claim over here. At least for my side, it's true that we have these normal sayings that the moment the kid stands up and walks, parents can tell where the kid is going. You understand? Because they raise the kid up. They know exactly what the kid is doing. There was the interaction over here.
Yeah.
Here, I don't find it. And I have talked with some people over here as well. I will give you an example. Fun example. Or at least I consider it fun example. During the COVID times. Before the COVID times, actually, there was this guy. I was working in this, I was volunteering in this NGO. In Den Haag, and there was this guy. He always complains. He used to come over there sometimes on the weekends to help us out with some social events, and he always complains he don't have that much time during the weekdays, and on the weekends his kids are also doing sports and stuff, so he don't have time on the weekdays because of his work to be with the kids. And he always complains and feels like a genuine complaint that, okay, that's fine. But then COVID happens, right? And everybody was locked inside the room. Believe you me, like in 3 months, that guy, or 2 or 3 months, that guy come over there is like, okay, man, take me out of my freaking house. I was like, but you want it all the time. Now it's over there. It's like, yeah, but I don't know them. We are sitting in front of each other and just like forcing over there. It just creates even more embarrassment because you really don't know what to say. And
that's dark.
And I was shocked listening to it. And I was like...
But how do you don't know your family? It doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
Does it have anything to do with the fact that the divorce rate is really high?
Oh, those are social issues. Those are different. I think it's more for the fact that there are economical constraints. That's the basic issue.
Because parents
have to work. And then you have a system over there where the grandparents have to be delivered to an old house. So there is nobody in the home. Plus over here, you also it's not that the parents are having like 7-8 kids over there. That would at least solve that problem to a certain degree, but even that is not the case. So there is like 1 or 2 or 3 kids. Only difference is growing up practically on their own.
Or they send them to this kind of children care things. Like, what is it called? I don't know. Like something like kindergarten, but it's like apparently a bit different.
You can't match parents' affection.
Yeah, of course.
And understanding.
It's totally different.
Or even your grandparents. I think this is also one thing I find. Again, with the topic maybe is a bit different because we are more...
No, it's good. Don't worry about it.
It's a waste of old people what they do over here. Grandparents should be at home.
I was personally some. I think my grandmother had a really important role in raising me.
Same for me.
Yeah, and
God bless her.
yeah, God bless mine too. I mean, God bless yours also.
Yeah.
So I agree with you on that. Like my mom was always there, but at the same time, sometimes my mom had to work, so I had to stay at my grandma's, and I have a lot of beautiful memories from there. But I
Look,
don't know, what's this? What's this? Yeah, go.
It's about interaction. It's really important. Look, again, we are very social. Humans are very social. Like, till 12, before 10 or 12, a kid cannot even survive on their own.
Yeah.
Right? And here, they are practically living on their own most of the time from that side. So it's interaction. If you're going to miss that interaction, only in the child, it's scientifically proven as well, till the age of 10 and 12, you learn whatever you learn. After that, you build on that learning. So what you are, it's already defined to a very large extent till the age of 10 and 12. If you miss human interaction, social interactions at that time,
you're going to struggle. But does it have anything to do with this affection thing and lack of parents in the child bringing up? Does it lead to? I think it leads to a lot of things that we have.
Yes,
here.
what you mentioned in the start of the podcast is practically leads to a lot of those things, directly or indirectly.
And then self-awareness to some extent kicks in as a solution to these problems that sometimes doesn't work, but sometimes can help at this.
Yes, that's what you said is very right, that sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it even makes the things worse. That's why people tend to forget things as much as possible with drugs or whatever. They have the possibility to do so.
Yeah, I heard this on a podcast. It was Jordan Peterson, I guess, that he was saying self-awareness awareness to in some school of thoughts is defined as depression.
To a certain degree, it is, because, like, again, the more aware you are, like, it's a very old saying that ignorance is bliss. What do you think that means?
Yeah, if you don't
it's
know,
in every culture. It's in every culture in the world. Ignorance is bliss. Like, there is a very famous story. It's like fun stories. I can mention you. Like the first time when the Christian what you call them, missionaries went to Arctic all the way upstairs. So they were having this conversation with the, I think it was Imnu, or my apologies for saying that, there was a very specific tribe who only lives in all the way up Russian Arctic. And they were having this conversation and they were telling him about Christianity. And he said that after the conversation, the guy said that, okay, wait a second. So you are saying me that now because I know, I have to follow it, otherwise I will go to hell. Before, if I didn't know, there was a completely different thing for me. So technically, you made things worse for me over here.
Oh, that's really good. How to say? Something like a foundation with all these things.
But then there comes another question, a fundamental question over there. What do you think a human is? Do you want to live in a box all your life and just think, or you want to use this brain? With doesn't matter you believe in a religion or creation or whatever it is. You have that brain. Do you want to use that tool or not?
Yeah, because at the end you regret that. What if I use it? You know?
So life is fun.
That's, yeah. But
that is why, like, that is my favorite story, because it just clears out something so nicely that, like, okay, fair. Like, if I didn't know that probably, that it would be a bit different thing.
Yeah, when you look at his story, you feel that many things that we see on daily basis is just a manifestation of these stories in real life. It's just same story being repeated over and over in different setups and different constructs.
Yes, humans. We all are humans. It's like, doesn't matter what the politics like to say it on the other side, but fundamentally this is all the same.
But the topic that you mentioned about the affection with the parents, do you think it leads to, when you grow up, what the problems that it causes? For example, some relationship issues because you have this inconsistent love from your mom in your childhood or from your father. Especially you see the girls who have, for example, daddy issues, they really struggle a lot in relationships and they need so much attention and many other things in that sense. What are the other things that it comes out of it, like other downsides?
First, it's I think I'm making to my again limited information. There is a kind of a psychology in childhood as well, right? So with the kids, boys are naturally always attracted to mother more. They always look at the mother more.
Yeah.
Girls are always attracted to the father more. It's always because for boys' first love is their mom. Girls' first love is their father. You understand? Boys' first competition in the house is their father. Girls' first competition is
the mom.
The mom. So That's why you have to keep those things while bringing up when both parties has to be over there to navigate it in a very nice way. And if you miss this thing, there is a lot of learning it's a lot of learning to be extract from these interactions in this kind of normal, natural way. But if you have missed it, my friend, then it's like, because those are more emotional. But outside, it's more fake. When you are saying something to somebody, it doesn't go that much deep. But when you are having those conversations with your parents, it goes deep. If you are having those conversations with your parents, so it makes a lot of difference. It also tells you about how to be sincere, how to intensify, how to be a bit more. Let me say it in this way. This is also my experience over here in the same NGO, which I was working in Den Haag. So there were these people who were musicians. So a group of like 3-4 people. They were musicians, but went into drugs and all the other stuff. So they were very socially, bad over there.
Typical musician.
They become musician. Actually, their craft explored even more. But anyhow, so when I met them, there was always these problems because they were helping us in events. But I always encountered that problem with them, that when they are angry, we never know exactly what's happening over there. Right. I'm going to cut that story short just for if you can understand it or not. When I end up having a more conversation with the person, and we were just having like more open ground, the problem was he didn't know how to say exactly what he was complaining about. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So when something is making him angry, right, it's hard for him to say exactly the same things. So he is going to put something else as a substitute over there to make angry. It's a psychological thing. It took me quite some time to think about it also. In only this one experience, again, I'm not a psychologist or anything, in this one experience, with his conversations, I find out he never had a parents or anything, right? So he grew up in a kind of orphanage, in that kind of stuff as well. I deducted from that thing, and I had a conversation with him also. He never knew how to complain properly. And where do you think you learn it from the first time?
At home with your parents?
Your first complaints, your first whatever comes in your head, your truthness, right? Your emotions. Your parents are the ones which sees it as clear as possible. And if you kind of miss them, you're not even aware about it yourself.
So all these things that we take for granted, like being able to complain, being able to negotiate, all these things, they are like skills that been built inside you when you were young, and if you miss them, it's going to be hard to get them.
Exactly. That's my experience. That's my information.
I think I agree with you. I couldn't agree more.
That's how at least I see it. Because, like, let's say it this way, why people from, let's say, more areas in the world, which is more collective, doesn't matter even they have their lack confidence in a certain ways, because over here it's more individualism, right? So if you survive on your own, doesn't matter with a half social thing, but at least some practical thing you survive, people praise you and you do it, you share with confidence. Over there it's a collective system, right? So they are not that confident. But you know that in terms of dealing, in terms of social structures, in terms of understanding people, where are the most famous gurus from? You even said, again, they're mostly from India.
Yeah.
Right? Or Persia, or places like this, where there is more collectivism, where they understand people more.
Family-oriented. Wow.
That's your basic school for nursery to understand people.
And what about the kids that, for example, I'm specifically mostly talking about girls. For example, their mother married a few times and they had different fathers. What is the impact of that?
Completely depends on how those fathers deal. It can turn out very good as well. It can turn out very bad too.
Yeah, because exactly what you said.
The relationships do not justify a stepmom doesn't necessarily mean something evil, or a stepfather doesn't necessarily mean something evil. It's more about how the person behaves and how that interaction goes over there.
Yeah. Because what I've realized, that's why I mentioned girls, because I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel that these childhood things are more visible in girls. Because with guys, for example, I don't know, it's not that obvious that they had bad childhood. But with girls, after like talking to them for like some time, you already to some extent feel that there's something wrong. But it's like, I don't know, do guys hide it, or it's because it's easier for them to get along with it?
It's easier for them, or there is different reason. Again, I'm going to my apologies for who is going to listen to it and take offense by it. I don't mean it in that way, but men have an advantage, a kind of a social advantage in a sense. When we have friends, right, or even the people we know halfway, we do not mind sharing our things very openly, even if we get embarrassed. It's normally the men thing is we are more open to share stuff.
Was it like that? I thought it's other way around. Because always people say like women cry and women share their feelings and stuff like that.
Genuine things.
Ah, okay.
From woman's side, again, my apologies, I can just say it in that way. There is more fake in it. And they know it also when they are dealing with each other. Again, these are of course very blunt statement over here.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
but like this is something because like it's this is my observation again, and I think that's what gives guys a little bit advantage over there. That even if we insult each other to the core over there for what the other person say, but we still accept it. And if there need to be, we still go over there in a genuine way and put a hand on the shoulders and like, okay, that's fine. But on the other side, it's more. Let's say in this way. If you did something stupid and you're telling it to me, I'm going to probably make fun of it for the rest of your life whenever I see it. Like, Ali, you freaking idiot, you did that, right? But at the same time, I will also give you advice how to not do it again. But I will keep that story.
Yeah, the fun should be always there.
Fun should always be there, right? For the woman, it's kind of a little bit change, a bit different. They will, if you tell me a story, I will emotionally pamper you directly over there, but I will not tell you how to get out of it.
Yeah, honey, you're good, you're fine.
Everything is wrong on the other side, and that's all that stuff. And
like something like this kind of say.
Dishonesty is not going to help you.
That's true. To some extent, you see, I saw the meme once that there was this thing like, oh, I think I'm ugly. And then the other girl say like, no, honey, you're beautiful. And then the other guy tell the other guy, I think I'm like, the other guy is like, yeah, you suck. Something like that.
And again, socially over here, it is considered culturally insensitive.
Yeah.
It's needed. Humans are not like we need to be a little bit harsher on.
But do you think this harshness is also good for girls when they are brought up?
Honesty.
So as a parent, if you have a daughter, do you think it's good to some extent give them the reality check that everything is not the Alice in Wonderland and everything? You
should always give your kids the reality. Otherwise, you are not good parenting.
So you should show them some harshness.
No, harshness doesn't mean that.
No, I mean not harshness like beating the shit out of them, but it's like because what I hear always from people is like if I have a son, I would be harsh to him and I will show him I will make him a real man. But if I have a daughter, she's my princess. I will buy anything from her.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. I agree with you.
But do you think that's also should be in an emotional way?
Treating your daughter as a princess is absolutely justifiable, and you should always do that. It has nothing to do with like princes are also realistic as well.
But if you have
let me say it in this way. You have the understanding of these princes again from the from the Disney stuff and all that stuff. Count the qualities when we consider somebody a princess, or even in the Disney movies, which people have most of the ideas of. It's not just whatever they say comes true. They are also very confident.
Yeah.
They also know what they are doing. They are also their mind is working, right? They are very social. And on top of it, they are very nice in terms of conversations, and they are very nice people over there. All those things constitute one princess. If you are going to only complain about something, that doesn't...
That's really good, because exactly the problem is, what I heard is many people when they say I want to bring up my daughter like a princess is mostly on the monetary side. That I will buy anything from her and anything she wants, I say yes.
You should. This is also a cultural thing. Just sorry for interrupting, but this is because you are saying it from the point because we in our cultures, of course, the woman get married, and this is mostly arranged marriage. So the idea behind that is, at least this is how I understood in my own family, that you brought her up or give her as much love as possible as what you can do, because she's going to go to the other house over there. Of course, she's going to get used to that thing, but you are going to say her goodbye.
Yeah.
And so, and the boy is going to stay with you forever. So you just like, okay, the love can be, extended.
Yeah.
But for the girl, it's a kind of a short thing. So you have to clamp it all over there. So that's why you are a bit more like, okay, you can take this, you can take that.
But,
and boys do complain about it quite much. We all do with our sisters. Like they always get more share of the pie than we do when we are growing up. But that's absolutely justifiable.
Oh, thank God in our household, it's the other way around. It was everything was always for me, but so this what is the fine line between providing your son and your daughter? I think this different with just let's talk about daughter for now, with every kind of love and everything, to make them, like, how to say, psychologically, how to say, fixed, and at the same time don't make them a narcissist?
Depends on their age. If they are young, again, as I said, till the age of 10 and 12, you have to pamper your kids. Boy or a girl does not matter. You have to pamper them. They are also understanding it. You have to be very careful. This is psychologically proven. I think a lot of people already are talking about it, that you should not lie in front of them, because whatever you are doing till the age of 10 or 12 in front of your kids, even if you think they don't understand, their brain is recording it and they are going to do exactly the same thing afterwards.
Wow.
So that the first 10 to 12 years is extremely, extremely careful behavior in front of your, kids. After, if you have a problem, take it into your room, not in front of the kids. If after that, then you have to start giving them a bit of course, reality. They are already going to school. They already are aware of the reality as well. So the thing go hand in hand, as long as you are keeping that communication with them. That is the key. Talk with them. Understand what they are having, what the problems they are having. Try to find a solution with them. Try to think with them. It takes time and effort. Then you are going to know them. Otherwise,
Do you think it's really important to make them think instead of just giving them solutions?
you should always make them think. Give them a way that, okay, even if you know the solution, ask them, this is a thing, think about, this is how my father raised me up, right? So even if I have a problem and if I'm going to go over there and say to him, like, okay, no, this is the problem, he's going to say, okay, maybe the solution is behind that door. So he will just guide me towards something. You understand? And then I'm going to go over there, look for the solution and make my meaning. Again, if we both are looking at the same thing, our meaning can be different. Even with the father and the son also, even with brothers, we are still different people. I will understand what I understand, then I will go back to him before I will do it, and then he can correct me. Or he does correct me over there, that if I misunderstood it or if I understood it properly.
Yeah. And the problem is with that thing, with that question that I had in my mind is, what is it? What I was going to ask, I forgot about it.
Can happen. You're getting old, Ali.
Yeah, I am getting old. But what was it? What were we talking about exactly right now? You were but
look, these are more social issues. I will just put it over there. Again, it's like these are the things which we have to focus more on, because in our cultures also we are losing it.
What is the
also losing it.
What is the role of belief system in these things? Like comparing a household that people, I don't want to talk about religious stuff, but imagine a household that the parents are at least spiritual, believe in God, some external power, and a household that they don't believe in anything. Do you think it makes a difference?
It doesn't matter in that sense, but it does matter in a very different sense. Look,
I'll also talk about it in a personal way. For example, imagine I'm a guy who believes in God. I mean, I do. And there is some person next to me who don't believe in anything, any higher force. How does that manifest itself in your life, do you think?
Those things are a bit different. These are more adult conversations, right? So when they grow up, everybody makes their own meaning. I will just go.
Family thing.
I will take you back to the family stuff, where the religion plays important, and why I think that this is a problem, or how you say, the disappearance of religion has enhanced this problem. Forget about believing in God or not, right? What do religions provide? If here, let's say in West, there is a church. What do you do over there? Every Sunday you go over there. Right? Or sometimes in a week, and then the church also organize, if everybody is going over there. Sadly, no, it's like only the old people, at least the last time I checked. If you go, the conversations we were just having about social interaction for the kids at the young ages in the family, right? Extend that to more larger circle. When they are gathering over there religiously, doesn't matter in a mosque or in a thing, that social interaction increases over there, increasing their chances of more socially aware. So you have to, again, people also think of religion as, what do you think? The God wants everybody to be in the church or a mosque or wherever do you think for them?
Wow, I never thought about it that way. I always thought like, okay, it's like a one-way individual connection with God. You just go there, you talk to your God, and you go out.
It's I will give you an example from Islam, right? Because like with the church, I am only familiar a little bit. But in Islam, you meet or you are supposed to go to the mosque 5 times a day, right? We believe Allah is big and He created everything, right? And He's too big. We are sitting on this small blue planet. Why He needs our prayer? For what He needs our prayer? The whole idea is, at least this is again, probably people are going to put fatwa on me and they will kill me over there, but this is my understanding. The whole idea is when you see some people, the same people from the area 5 times a day, if somebody is sad or somebody is happy or somebody feels like they're lonely over there something, you could see it, right? You're meeting them 5 times a day. So every single change which will happen,
Yeah, you feel it.
you feel it. So then even if the person is not going, you gather, you ask, you're like, what happened? But if you're just locked inside your own house,
But that's really interesting. I didn't even know about it. But despite, regardless of that, so one thing is that taking your child to church or mosque or I don't know whatever religious you believe in.
it's a social. See it from the social. Even if you don't believe in it, you should think about the religion in a bit more seriously anyway, because in the end we are going to die and we don't know where exactly we are going to end up after that. But at least socially do respect them. That the kind of social effect they have.
Yeah. But how about the individual aspect? Imagine that's one thing. Just my personal experience. A few years ago, I wasn't that much believing in God. Still, I cannot say I'm a religious person or I'm really like a believer. Right? I'm not praying that really, but I feel that when I believe in God, this kind of external force give me some kind of warmth, some kind of confidence for my decision making, for my uncertainties about the future. You feel that there is some kind of like a backup plan. Not a backup plan, but there is some kind of force that holding you up.
Look, this is a controversial debate, because like the non-believers are going to say to you, or the people who do not believe in any culture, they are going to say to you, you are a weak human being because you shouldn't be needing God in any way to put all those good intentions in you, right? But sadly, the reality is most of us are very weak, including myself. We need that extra.
I mean, humankind is weak in general.
Yeah, but like we are not as arrogantly strong as those people who thinks that we don't need an external thing, that when we are doing something stupid, even we know it is stupid, but we still do it. The only thing which is stopping us at that time is the idea that something invisible is watching us and we are going to be judged over there, if we believe in it. Otherwise, we are just going to go for it.
Yeah, it's
You understand? So there is this.
That's true.
There is this barrier to just say in that way.
I'm really influenced by my father on that sense, because he is quite a devoted Muslim, and he's also really believes in God. I'm not a Muslim myself, but I really listen to him, the stories that he tells me from his life, how God to some extent manifested himself in many ways. Like he needed some help, and suddenly the next day the person came to because he used to have a store, and he used to sell his stuff. I had to say the kitchen appliances and stuff like that. What doesn't matter. For example, he said, like, okay, tomorrow I need someone to fix the elevator. And he was really pissed because he didn't have the money to do that and stuff like that. The next day, some guy who is the expert in elevators comes to his stores, buys the stuff, and he tells like, yo, I don't pay you money, fix my elevator. And it works out. They made the deal and everybody are happy. The next day, and he told me maybe 20 stories like that I just wanted something and it just came to me.
We all have those stories. Sad part is most of the people don't focus. Most of the people will just not mind over there. They will just take the person like, yeah, you give me an advice, and they will not think about it after that.
Yeah, just think it's luck or I don't know, something randomly.
Look, it happens to everybody. We all have those experiences. Most definitely, I can say it for surety, that where we are almost desperate to a certain situation and suddenly a beacon of hope comes over there. We can call it what we want to. Doesn't matter if it's psychological, but it helps us, right? We most definitely all have. At least when you are in your adult life, you have few stories about it.
Yeah.
Of course, it depends on your interpretation of it. Look, belief is called belief because God is not going to reveal himself to us. That's why it's belief. What we can talk about is what he says. Like what are the things, or what he says in, let's say, because I said to you before also, there is also a lot of distinction in religions and kind of religions and what they expect from you also. So in generally, Judaism, Christianity and Islam, this is one family. We are still fighting of it. Probably we are going to still fighting for it for the rest of our lives till the end of Judgment Day. But it belongs to one family.
Yeah.
One idea. So most of the things you can trace easily, and then you can have a kind of a understanding or debate about it. That okay, does it make sense? Does it not make sense? And on an intellectual levels, Judaism, in Christianity, and in Islam, scholars, they almost do it every day. Like if you can find it easily on YouTube, and where there's intellectuals are sitting over there having an understanding, okay, maybe this is right, maybe that is right. And I consider it a very good thing. The other part is the kind of paganism, what we call in our journal terms, like Hinduism, or over here, Thor.
What is pagan? Because you mentioned that before. What is exactly paganism?
Paganism it generally is to where people worship idols. So nature, god of nature, god of forest, god of thunder, god of whatever, god of emotions, god of love. You understand? So whenever you put the god in specific boxes,
Different gods.
different gods.
Isn't it illegal in a perspective of religious things?
Only illegal in perspective of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam.
I mean, those are the religions that I know.
But the world is way bigger. So there are more, of course. Hinduism, there's like almost more than 1 billion, almost 700
Yeah, of course.
million
But
people.
I mean, these three religions are the most trendy ones. I mean, you hear
Yes,
most
but
about
no,
them.
because they are more dominant in a way of their actions.
Yeah.
So and they are continuously shaping the world. 1,000 years ago, they were Muslims, and before that, they were Judaism, who were stories and things. Even in the history, what you know about is mostly Judaism story from Middle East and other parts, right? So these are very culturally instaped over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like,
Paganism, you were talking about it.
so that is like all three religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. All three kicks out paganism over there because they all believe in one God. Okay, Christianity has a trinity going on over there, which is also a bit confusing. But at least the Judaism and Islam still sticks to the original idea, still one God.
But so how does paganism plays a role in the subject matter that we were talking about?
Then the conversation becomes very religious. If you believe in one God,
Yeah.
right, and God is invisible.
Yeah.
You can only see the from your actions and from your belief. The instructions from God, it doesn't matter again in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, is like you can't make idols, right? You can't make other gods. That's the only one condition he has directly. The rest is just mostly social things what he asks you to follow. Again, I just explained to you, when you go to a mosque or a church or a synagogue, it's mostly social. Yes, you do religious things over there, but they also know that their God doesn't need it.
So you cannot say Kanye West is God.
Kanye West can say what he wants to say over there. I think he just missed some of his medicine injections. I don't know.
Because he's the Jesus.
But this is also a problem, right? This is again now maybe changing the topic to the cultural norms over there. That there are so many things what we promote which just doesn't make any sense. Look, if an artist, my apologies again, maybe I'm being strict over there. An artist, if he's a musician, the only thing what we should be talking about is his music. Why we need to discuss about personal life, other stuff? There are freaking reality shows. These are the things I really take a lot of offense with.
Because they make a lot of money out of it.
Yeah, because, and look, if you are watching my life,
Yeah.
you're not going to have yours.
Wow. Because it's gonna make you more distracted.
You are wasting your time watching my life.
Yeah, I'm thinking about you during the day subconsciously.
You're going to even forget about who you are. The more you are going to mix up with other people's life.
You know, it's just a whole circle that comes around and comes back to itself. The thing that we mentioned about childs being brought up without knowing themselves, and also people are not self-aware to some extent. It's really connected to the distraction that you have watching other people's lives and also not being believer. And I mean, I don't want to say if you're not believer, you're in trouble, but for some people, and there is one term that I heard from a good friend of mine. He's from Indonesia and he's Christian, and he told me this interesting thing called Confucianism.
Mm-hmm. That's the Chinese old understanding.
That's really cool. Let's say like some family is like, what was it? You know it very well, right? It's
No,
like
I don't know.
The cousin, uncle to the cousin or something like that. Like they give some kind of a heritage, like your chosen cousin. You're the chosen kid of the family to lead the religious things and how to say like old cultures, rituals of the family. Like you become the next big person of the family.
Do you mean like a Dalai Lama?
I know Dalai Lama, but I don't know exactly how it relates to this.
No, but that's the thing, because I'm not understanding what you are trying to say over here.
So I talked to this guy who is from Indonesia, and he told me Confucianism is to some extent what keeps different religions together in Indonesia, because there are Christians and Muslims, and they have a really better bond together compared to here. To some extent because of Confucianism.
Oh, I disagree. Maybe it works over there because they are more familiar with things. Look, we tend to focus also when we also read history very selectively.
Yeah.
Right? Remember these things. Jews, Christians, and Muslims, especially because again we are talking mostly this area is the one which affects us also. They lived peacefully. There are long times, longer than the war times, where they were living peacefully with each other. But because our focus, all of our focus, especially politically, because it's a lot
Yeah.
of money to be earned over there for a lot of reasons, is to be having. There are Jews which still lives in Iran, like the kind of idea what you have of Iran, and you are from Iran, right?
Yeah.
The Jews should be like hanged on the corner of the street over there everywhere, but that is not the case. There are Jews still living over.
But they are, but because to some extent the government doesn't know about it that much.
Are you, Ali?
I don't know, because
Your government doesn't know about the Jews living in the country. Are you?
yeah, they know, but
what kind of stupid statement is that?
Yeah, I know, but to some extent it's like, because I know they killed a lot of Jews. Like they did kill a lot of Jews.
Look, again, there were problems. There is no doubt about it. We did a lot of bloodshed. But again, not everyone. Crusades were few people from certain places coming over there. They were still Christians. Again, when we look, certain things we have to keep in mind, because we also make geographical boundaries when we think about religion. Religion do not have geographical boundaries.
Yeah.
There are Christians in all colors and sizes and shapes. There are Muslims in all colors and sizes and shapes, and almost Jews as well, at least to a certain degree. It's a bit hard, but at least there are like Middle Eastern and the Europeans, let's say in that way. But when we are having a discussion about Christianity or Judaism and Islam, we, in our heads, in our conversations, we strict it to us. When we think about Christian, what do you think about? Europe?
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
America.
Christians are also in Lebanon. I saw
That's
one.
where it all began.
Yeah, exactly. I saw one girl from Lebanon, like she looks like me, and she was like, "I'm Christian."
There are so many Christians in Iraq. There are so many. There are some Christians even in
Yeah,
Afghanistan.
3 years ago, I saw her. She was like Christian. I was like, wait, no, you're not Christian. You're Muslim.
Look.
It was really weird for me.
So, but that's why I said we have to. I don't know. This is more deep and political things. I have no understanding of these things. Why it is allowed to happen in such a way that this kind of stupid propaganda is allowed to run. Why these socially destructive policies is allowed to run. I'm not stating over there that this is on purpose. I am not saying that there is like a big conspiracy going on over there.
Which socially?
These things, what we just mentioned over there, like the destruction of the economical stuff is so hard over there to the people.
Family orientations,
So,
religious stuff like that.
Again, and that's why I'm making it clear that I'm not saying that there is like an Illuminati or something like this following. Yes. I think we are just, as a human, as a civilization, we are just on a stupidity stage as a whole.
So, if, for example, Christians start going to the church and, how to say, become more family oriented, same thing for Muslims, like everybody just do their religious, do their good things, you think it's gonna become a better place?
In my understanding, yes. As long as there are certain things defined over there, because of course there are, like, for example, let's say, what is the problem right now? Jerusalem, right? So it's always property problems which causes wars.
Yeah.
Nobody, like, I do not remember last time somebody from Christian or Judaism or in Islam even, and again I'm probably going to have trouble saying that, fought for the religion. They fought for land. They fought for influence. They fought for control.
That's true.
Nobody is fighting for that. This is because if you're fighting for that, okay, this is the message and I'm giving it. You are not going to fight it with a sword then or a pistol. You are going to fight it intellectually because you need to convince people that you are the right one. This is how this religion spreads.
Is it to some extent happening also in Europe with like Sharia? Muslims want to like take the control.
No,
sometimes.
No, at least that's there is a. I took the thing which I told you about also during our work last time. This was a thing mentioned by a very right-wing politician. I don't remember where she was from. So there was this, like, a couple of weeks ago, there was a convention of them in Brussels, and there in her speech, this conspiracy was part of her speech.
But because I've seen
let me just finish it. Like, I just found it so hilariously amazing. So that's why I just kept that in mind. I'm like, okay, these people are striving to find food, right? You're bombing them every single night, and they don't have a homes to stay over there, and you think that they're going to have such an intellectual gameplay with you?
I don't know, because I just saw some protests and some interviews with some radical Islamists that they say like they want to install the Sharia in here. Like some leaders also in London, also in Canada, I've seen it, the videos from them.
If I go to your house,
right,
and there are 10 people in the house, and you already identify one person as the most extremist, do you think to understand that house I'm going to go and over there and ask that person's opinion?
No, I'm saying that's why from the beginning I said some of them. Not all of them.
Understand this thing. This is where the problem happens, because the media and everybody will go to that freaking idiot.
Yeah.
Who is from 1 in 9 other people to present the whole house.
So you think it's not for like it's not a general thing, it's like a minority.
It's a very less. How many Muslims are in the world?
Couple of, I think like 2 billion, 1.5 billion, something like that.
Still
2
less than
billion.
Christians, but it's a billion people. If
Yeah.
do you think that a religion really teaches you to just murder every single person who is not Muslim,
No, they don't want to murder anyone, of course.
or influence one way or another in any way? Look, they had before the Renaissance in Europe from 15 and 1600. Europe was what, that's why they call them dark ages, because Europe was on the thing. It was a golden age of Islam,
Yeah.
right? People were fighting on the both sides for land, again, for land and the riches.
But why so much they want land?
Not
Like what's the thing?
It's a human thing. Doesn't matter. You take Hinduism, Christianity. Religion is
bro,
just a
just
label.
buy yourself a house, live there. Why you need the whole land?
This is human. This is just, that's why I
Yeah.
also said this is also one thing I think it should be interesting to mention over here. The concept of devil to a certain degree.
Devil,
Because Christianity has a very fun concept of devil. My apologies, I do not want to offend anybody, but in Christianity, if I understand it correctly, devil is some sort of lord of hell. Right? So apparently he is like the hell is his kingdom. So it's practically whoever goes over there, but he is having a chill point over there. It's his kingdom. I think this is a dangerous view. This is a really dangerous view. It is dangerous in a sense that because what you do over there is whatever happens, you just blame it on him because, like, you have given him so much power. I don't know how much you know, but in Islam, it's not the case. We are more responsible for ourselves. Devil, yes, what he does, he's a whisperer. That's the only thing we do. That's why we keep on shitting on him whenever we have a chance. He's a whisperer, very powerful one.
But you try to not to listen to him.
In the end, we have to deal with our problems, the pride, the lust, the body issues, the jealousy. These are fundamental problems. Christianity used to be the same thing in the past as well, but now everything is on the devil and the humans are innocent and happy
That's
days.
exactly the narrative that you hear a lot these days, especially from the far left people. That's saying, like, I hear it a lot, extreme lefts usually, that it's like everything is others' fault. Anything that's happening in my life is a fault of the social construct. Anything in the world is not my fault.
Again, going back to what we start over there, those complaints were very valid as a kid because those people definitely miss all those things, and that's why they keep on making those complaints while growing up as well, because the emptiness is in their childhood.
And then what is a act of labeling in here? We talked about in the beginning of the podcast that if you label that you have a problem, it makes it harder. Do you think these people who have this kind of psychological issues that they want to blame everything on others like to label themselves with some issues also?
We should be careful with generalizing. Some people really suffer from it. Some people...
No, some of them, like, of course. We don't mean everybody, guys, if you're saying something.
Some people really genuinely suffer from it. But yes, some people do take up... Again, I will give you an example. Friend of mine.
Yeah.
Normal guy. Everything happened. There were some problems, a little bit here and there, but normal guy, right? Over here I'm talking about. So just to give you this, because this is also in a cultural context. There were some issues, so he went to the doctor, and the doctor diagnosed him that he's a bit autistic. I don't even understand those things very well myself, but the next day when he comes over there, he was mostly silent and just sitting on the side. Physically, he was fine, but just because doctor has said him he was...
That's really true. It's, I'd say, a placebo effect to some extent.
So I went to him and I said, okay, dude, what happens? Like, doctor says I'm over there. It's like, and I was like, yeah, but like now you have to behave like one just because doctor said so.
That's more that.
Like I do not mean to insult the doctor over there in any way.
And
but
we don't want to underestimate someone's problems.
Indeed, there are problems. There are genuine problems. But if you're going to accept them and hug them instead of like, okay, this is something I need to get rid of me. You understand? Because if you're going to use those things as an excuse, that's what people do, sadly.
Yeah.
Some people genuinely need this. Again, I will emphasize on it. Some people are genuinely there. They just can't help it. But
with
not
ADHD,
everyone.
we see it a lot. I personally, like, I think I have ADHD to some extent, maybe minor ones. But I mean... Well, you were like, yeah.
No. I was just making more fun that it looked...
But I mean, to some extent, but I try to not use it as a label because I just found out these meditating things, it just helps me on concentration. And sometimes I even forget that I was once labeled as an ADHD person by somebody.
I think this mental illness things have over-exploded.
Yeah, lately, but does it
Way over exploded.
yes, everybody are trying to find a way to go to some certain
It's good for
group.
the people who are making money out of it and on their medications and all that stuff. And also it has, again, going back to relation, because in most of these sessions,
Yeah.
I only know from the movies and some of the people whom I understand it, most of these sessions you talk, right?
Which is- that's the
Psychologist, you are talking the same kind of talk. If you can have a very genuine with your parents as well or your family members, it's the same stuff.
So if it's to some extent you're outsourcing what was supposed to be done at home,
Yes,
similar to what you do,
and you are paying for it.
yeah, and there is this book that I read, Bad Therapy. I suggest it to everybody. This is a phenomenal book, 10 out of 10, Bad Therapy. This was talking also about this, that apparently there are so many psychologists, especially in Canada and America, that are constantly labeling people with, like, you go to them, they try to dig into your things and they try to install false memories in you. You know, can you believe that? That's insane.
Dude, look, that's why, again, it's nice that we are keep on coming back again and again to our topic. Whenever you mix something genuinely good with money,
yeah, that's just apparently the therapists, some of
because
them are really,
these conversations are, look, apart from medicine, again, some people have genuine issues, but most of the people just need a conversation. You know, some people to talk with, the people can make it a bit clear, right? That's the only thing, but they need.
But the psychologists try to use, some of them, of course, we don't mean all of them, you try to use it as an opportunity to take more money and
look,
make
again,
them worse.
I cannot blame them either. We are living in a capitalistic world, so if you have the chance to make money, you make the chance to make money. But the problem lies more over there, that those things would have come naturally also. And the more you are going to make it apart over there, of course, the societies. That's why, again, it's like these are the things where I think, especially over here, and we are following the West, so we are just like few years behind, and we are in the same paths also. That's why we should be thinking about it ourselves. So this is what we are doing. This is what we are going. It's it doesn't seem like a very happy world. Yes, we have cars and everything, but everybody's crying in all their alone corners.
Sometimes it makes me think.
It should make you think always. It should make everybody think always. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Because that's why again I will emphasize the religion over there, because when you believe in a religion and you think there is something after this life, then this life becomes a little less important. So making this money and all that stuff, it makes a bit less important. People becomes more important because that's what you're going to be judged on, according to religion. Doesn't matter which religion you are picking, right? So the how you say the importance shifts. For me, the social aspect of the religion is far more important. And that's what, wherever we are missing it, it's kind of becoming chaos. So
that's for the kids who are listening to this, like us, the solution is to some extent go. I mean, if you're Christian, if you don't want to follow the Christianity or your religion or whatever, at least try to think deeply and try to minimize the distraction in your life and try to get to know yourself.
Be honest and respectful for yourself and for the others. That's the only thing. If you are just going to, in my experience, if you are going to, this is how I learned it. I went away from religion also. The things of which I have seen in my life experiences, then I come back to it. Because I keep these two fundamental principles over there. So like you have to first of all identify yourself. That's why knowing yourself is important. Once you identify yourself and understand a bit about yourself, identify some social rules. That, okay, for example, I'm going to lie as minimum as possible. If unnecessary, unless or until I'm really doing it for good, I am not going to do it. Doesn't matter the freaking consequences. Then stick to it. You have to build yourself up. And with only honesty and respect, because otherwise you can only with complete honesty, you will also make a lot of people angry over there. So the respect is very necessary. The more honest conversations we are going to be having with each other, the more we will automatically find solutions. That's what humans are.
And the problem will be solved.
The problem is that we are not talking with each other honestly. We are behind our freaking mobiles and saying all kind of lies and stupidity over there, which again in turns makes us even more mentally...
Plus, if there is a problem going on in the world, you see them on Instagram and every negative things get amplified in your mind.
You need to talk with people face to face, physically, having some nice conversation. Go sit outside in a freaking park, have a cafe. don't use drugs or alcohol in those conversations kindly, but the rest is all good.
Yeah, guys, come on, don't take drugs and don't drink alcohol, please.
Not specifically in these conversations, because then
In general, I really don't drink alcohol. I just don't drink because I don't know, I just don't get the point of drinking it. I don't know, it's just weird. But this also, I wanted to mention this topic for the last topic because it's really interesting, and I see it in everybody almost in my age, my generation, that we don't really know what is our motivation, what is our passion. Like you talk to people, including me maybe, which is natural, is normal to some extent. So what do you want to do in the future? What is your motivation? What is your passion? People don't know. They really have no clue. Do you think, to some extent, so for some people it's really forced. For some people, they know to some extent, okay, I'm gonna be in this field. Some people are like, I really don't know what I'm gonna do. I used to be like this like 6-7 years ago, that I really didn't know what I'm gonna do. Well, some part of it is because you explore and you learn the stuff, but it's like, how to say, externalities. But to some aspect, it's also your intrinsic things and internalities. For example, the things that you mentioned about self-awareness and talking honestly to yourself. That's also why I mentioned it as one of the, how to say, downsides of not being self-aware. How can you do that? Because I see a lot of people say like, I want to find out what I like, but I don't even know where to start.
Knowing yourself.
That's also
How can you know what you like unless or until you don't know yourself?
But how can you link that to that? For example, imagine I know myself. I know like, okay, this
Experiment. Don't limit yourself. Experiment. Whatever you feel like it. If you have a chance, try it.
Yeah.
If there is nothing to lose, why? Try it.
People say 20s is the age for experimenting.
Dude, whole life, my friend. I told you this before. This is absolutely, again, a kind of I will say, a modern Western construct about the thing that after this age, you cannot do. After this age, there are...
But because after that age, to some extent, you cannot that much take risk. You might probably have a family.
Sorry to say it again, if you follow the social conditions over here where people are practically alone till the end, then of course I can understand by the age of 60, 70, you already have given up in everything. But if you have a robust social structure and everything, you are just like, actually by the age, you just get better and better till your freaking deathbed. These are like, in my family, as long as my grandmother was alive and my grandfather was alive, there was not a single, not a single leaf can move without their permission. And I don't mean it in a harsh or strict way. Like whenever something is happening in the house, we will go over there. Even the people from outside the family will go over there and ask them, because they have lived an experience.
Yeah.
It's better for grandkids to, if again they know it themselves. Also over here there is also a question mark over there. But normally, if grandkids raise the children, we say it in my culture that it's better because they have already done their mistakes with their own kids. Right? So they know what they did and how the effect is and what they did. So with the grandkids, it's kind of like a double surety.
Yeah. Okay, external experience.
Because now you have seen your own kids, right? Whatever you did with your own kids, now they have grown up, now they have kids. So you are more aware about the stuff, what to do and what not to do, or how to deal with the kids.
Man, I really don't want to. I mean, I like to have a kid one day, but damn, it's raw hard. It's really hard.
Look, nowadays the biggest problem is more economical, and I think that is driving everybody. Because if you want to live an Apple life, we can't have people. Most of us can't afford to have people around us.
Yeah, I won't have a kid until I have like 3 Maseratis in the parking.
And
guys,
I hope
make sure you are rich enough when you make
and do it in a good way. Don't screw people up while doing it, kindly.
Yeah, and please know your partner before marrying.
You should always
but many people don't.
Yeah, true. But but depends on the culture. For example, my culture have arranged marriages, but because it is embedded in our head, we don't mind it. We actually adjust.
We don't have that anymore in Iran that much.
No, in my country we still do.
No, in Iran,
my brother just recently got married, and he was also arranged.
No, in Iran it really depends. In my area is like the
love beaming area.
Like LA part of Iran. Like nobody believes in anything. It's like free, open-minded stuff like that. So it's like arranged marriage is totally gone.
Fair. No, but in my country,
in some areas.
In my country, it still exists, and I understand people over here. It's I can understand psychologically, it's unacceptable for them just to marry somebody, and that's why you shouldn't be doing that over here either. You should know the person if you have the chance. But
the problem is people also get divorced really easy, apparently,
because they marry very easy also, apparently.
Yeah, that's really weird. Like if you marry someone, then somebody does something. I don't know. I'm not in that household, but that's the way that I feel like. Some people get divorced after like 1 year. Like you didn't even try it
Look.
to fix it in like 3 years.
If you're going to base your decisions based on the fucking butterflies on your stomach, then yeah, good luck with it.
What should be the decision based on? Like she's a baddie, like
Again, when you know yourself, you will know what you are. You will know what kind of people who can adjust with you, and you can also know what kind of person you will be interesting to live your life with.
That's also related to the things like if you know yourself, you can read people. That's the first thing if you want. And if you read people,
People are people. The more you know yourself, the more you know other
others.
people also.
That's insane. And I want to finish our podcast with that last quote. People are people. They know you.
The more you know
yourself, the more you know people.
Yes.
That was a golden quote. Please print it and put it on the top of your door. And anytime you're going out, you remember that. Let's use social media, guys. Come back to real life. Follow your religious and go to church.
Be socially active.
Be social. I talk to people. Yeah, put that shit away.
This is very important.
Remove TikTok from your phone. For real, bro. TikTok.
Look, the apps are just apps. They can have what they want to, but just do not make the major interaction. Even if you meet the people online, try to meet them physical. That because the facial expressions, the reading, the behavior, the vibes the other person gives, these are very important social clues which we learn to deal with other people in the future.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. What a podcast. This was the best podcast I've ever recorded in my entire life. Not gonna lie. It was amazing. I hope people listen to this because usually we are the only ones who listen to our own podcast. Like nobody else could care less about us. But please, guys, I mean, it's too late to ask them to listen because if you already listened to it, you already finished it. Yeah.
So you just say thank you for them to listening, whoever did listen, and wish them good health and life.
Yeah. And on that bombshell, we have to finish this podcast. So take care, and it's a nice sun. I'm gonna go out and get some sun.
Same. I'm going to also
filling
go for
up
a walk.
the solar panels, baby.
Okay.
Do it.
Have a good time.